What's up, Jets team? It's Adam. A little bit different mode of communication than what we're all used to. Me talking to you guys from home, my home, in my studio, in my office. I'm excited to bring you this message. We had a meeting recently, and a couple of these topics came up in my mind, and I thought these would be of value to you, your staff, and the organization company-wide. So one of the things that I know that Jason has been working on with you guys in particular is an ownership mentality, right? And you can have that as an employee. And as a matter of fact, the best employees, the ones who outperform others, the ones who rise the ladder, or, climb up the ladder, the ones who rise in the company, the ones who get the promotions, the ones who kind of get a little bit more street cred too, respect. They're the ones who have the ownership mentality. And so today what we're going to talk about is a book that absolutely revolutionized my life. So what I want to do today is share some principles with you from a book that I read a while back, but I use it all the time. I use the principles all the time. And as a matter of fact, I had a moment with my 9-year-old this morning that I use these very principles that I'm getting ready to go over with you about personal accountability and ownership mentality, right? And so your goals are to get the staff to perform as a unit, as a team, as a cohesive structure for the purpose, the main purpose in the business is profits. Because if the profits don't occur, then you cannot provide great service, you cannot provide great food, and you cannot be a positive impact on your coworkers in the community. And from what I understand, that's the mission, right? So what we're going to talk about today is a little gem called Question Behind the Question. QBQ. Oh, here we go. There you go. So eliminate blame, complaining, and procrastination. Does that sound like something your staff could use? I thought so. So what I want to do is define personal accountability quickly so we're all on the same page. All right? Personal accountability, according to Forbes, is the belief that you are fully responsible for your own actions. We could stop there, right? Aren't we all taught that in grade school? You're fully responsible for your own actions and consequences. It's a choice, a mindset, and an expression of integrity. I love that definition. That's why I used it. So, in all honesty, I was in a place in my life when this book came along. I was about 28 years old, and I had a marriage that fell apart. I was addicted to drugs, and I had been through more jobs than I want to talk about, usually getting fired, sometimes quitting. And again, family, personal life in disarray. Finances, terrible. Motorcycle repossession, bills, water, electric shut off. This is the place where I was in my life when this came along in 2007. And I stumbled along the book. I started reading it. And back then I was a registered nurse, and I'd read this on midnights. And it taught me things. It taught me one big thing, that I had been acting like a victim up until that point, pointing the finger at everybody else for whatever was wrong in my life, whether it was my upbringing or my partner or my life partner, right? My spouse, my wife, or my church, or whomever I could blame. The news, the government, the president, the guy in the corner, whatever. It didn't matter. But it didn't really sound like that, but that was my attitude. I had the finger pointing. And this book helped me cure myself of that forever. And the results have been undeniable. So whether it's relational, financial, personal results, this book is every bit in the top running of anything that I've ever read or consumed or been taught ever about this principle in terms of helping me transform my results and my emotions. It helped me get a hold of that big time. So I want to share a couple stories with you. Pardon me that I'm going to read, but I want to be able to give it to you verbatim because it's very important, the examples, right? From a billboard towering over the Houston freeway loomed this question: whatever happened to personal responsibility? I don't know who put it up there, but it sure jumped out at me. Here's a couple examples of the negative. The author says, I was looking for some coffee in a gas station convenience store, but the carafe was empty. So I said to the person behind the counter, pardon me, there's no coffee in the pot. He pointed at a coworker not 15 feet away and said, "Coffee's her department." Department? In a roadside gas station the size of my living room? All right. Another one. On a cross-country flight, the flight attendant got on the intercom and said, "Sorry, everyone, but the movie we promised you will not be shown today. Catering put the wrong one on board." Blame, right? And check out this one, just for you. The carry-out pizza place had apparently lost our order. So I was pacing back and forth waiting for our pizzas while my hungry family waited in the car. Suddenly, out of the blue, the young man behind the counter said, "Hey, don't blame me. My shift just started." Wrong answer, youngster, or oldster, whoever you are. Wrong answer. In one form or another, we often hear, "It's not my fault, it's not my job, it's not my problem." That's the setup, right? That's the negative. And likely, you guys have a lot of that going on right now, but don't despair, because this is truly a simple and mostly easy fix. It's not that hard, but the results are dramatic. It's just a shift in our mindset. And now what I want to do is share with you a productive example of what this looks like and how you can apply it in your life, and we're out of here. Number one, I'm going to read this beautiful example of blowing customers' minds, which some of you have heard me talk about. Customer satisfaction is a garbage goal. I'd love to instill that in you. I'd love for you to adopt that as your own. Customer satisfaction is a garbage goal. If you're in business, it's the minimum requirement is to satisfy the people that are giving you the money that they put in their pocket from slaving away all week like you do. Hopefully you don't think of it as slaving, but most people look at their life as a slave away. They're slaving away for the man, and they get some money, and they want to come and enjoy a wonderful pizza experience, and you're the ones providing that. Don't satisfy. Blow their mind. So here we go. It was a beautiful day in downtown Minneapolis when I stopped into a Rock Bottom restaurant for a quick lunch. That's the name of the restaurant, Rock Bottom. The place was jammed. I didn't have much time, so I was happy to grab the one stool they had available at the bar. A few minutes later, after I sat down, a young man carrying a tray full of dirty dishes hurried past on his way to the kitchen. But noticing me out of the corner of his eye, he stopped, came back, and said, "Sir, have you been helped?" "No, I haven't," I said, "but all I really want is a salad and a couple rolls." "I can get you that, sir." "What would you like to drink?" Did not ask, would you like something to drink? This is an upsell technique, okay? It's an upsell method. What would you like to drink? You're assuming the yes, okay? I'll leave that alone for now. "I'll have a Diet Coke, please." "Oh, I'm sorry, sir. We sell Pepsi. Would that be all right?" No thanks," I said with a smile. "I'll just have water and a lemon, please." "Great. I'll be back." He disappeared. Moments later, he came back with the salad, the rolls, and the water. I thanked him, and he was quickly gone again, leaving me to enjoy my meal. Suddenly, there was a blur of activity off to the left. The wind of enthusiasm stirred behind me, and then over my right shoulder stretched the long arm of service, delivering a 20-ounce bottle, frosty on the outside, cold on the inside, of, you guessed it, Diet Coke. "Wow," I said. "Thank you." "You're welcome," he said with a smile, and hurried off again. My first thought was, hire this man. Talk about going the extra mile. He was clearly not your average employee, but the more I thought about the extraordinary thing he'd just done, the more I wanted to talk with him. So as soon as I could get his attention, I waved him over. "Excuse me, I thought you didn't sell Coke." "That's right, sir. We don't." "Well, where'd it come from?" "The grocery store around the corner, sir." I was taken aback. "Who paid for it?" I asked. "I did, sir. Just $1." By then, I was thinking profound and professional thoughts like, cool. But what I said was, "Come on, you've been awfully busy. How did you have time to go get it?" Smiling and seemingly growing taller before my eyes, he said, "Sir, I didn't. I sent my manager." Oh my gosh, this is great. I couldn't believe it. Was that empowerment or what? It was the lunch rush. He was already busy with plenty to do. But he noticed a customer who, though not in his section, looked as though he needed some attention. So he decided to do what he could do to help personally. I don't know what was in his mind at that moment, of course, but faced with a similar situation, many people would have had thoughts like these. Don't raise your hand if this is you. Why do I have to do everything around here? Who's supposed to be covering this area anyway? When is management going to provide us with more tools, resources, help? Why are we always so short-staffed? When are the customers going to learn to read the menu? There's a big one. Blaming the people that pay your bills. This stuff drives me crazy. The essence of the question behind the question, the book, the essence of this is making better choices in the moment by asking better questions. So that's the idea here. I had a mentor who taught me, he said it all the time. He said, you'd have better results in your life, you'd have better answers if you learn to ask better questions. And that struck me deeply. What I learned about that was that I didn't have the thinking necessary to ask those better questions yet. Because you got to think of words, and that's vocabulary, and that's all part of your thinking in your mind. So I want to encourage you. This is a transformative thinking exercise. I don't mean to make it sound so collegiate or formal or stuffy, but the bottom line is to ask different questions. You have to think differently. So this will help you do this. There's some baby steps here we can take. So the first thing you want to do, right? Here's number one if you're taking notes. Or you can just rewind and listen to it again and if I go too fast, because I know I talk fast. So check it out. Here's the 3 principles. Number 1, you want to start with words like what or how. Write those down. Put them in quotations. Use the words what or how with your questions. We're asking better questions, so we're going to start with what or how. Got it? This is also part of number 1, the second part. Do not use words like why, when, or who. Never. Not those ones. Remember the bad examples we just talked about? Why doesn't management? Or when is someone gonna? Or who is responsible here? Whose job is this? These type of things. There's appropriate times to know those kind of things for the purpose of training and corrective measures. But I think you guys get the gist of this right here. This is really, most of this is going to have to be dealing with your prospects, in your guys' case, your customers that are coming in, the people on the phone, this sort of thing, right? And trust me, you may not be a realtor or, selling cars or something, but you have prospects. Your prospects are the people who call and have never had jets before. They're a prospect. They're a prospective customer. They're not current. You don't have their money. And I highly suggest you blow their mind to get it rather than satisfying them. Because I'm sure Marco's down the street or anybody else in town, Domino's, is satisfying an itch. Heaven forbid the hot and ready, right? Number 2, focus on the word I. All right? The word I. It puts it on you. There's times where we'll never use the word I, and we'll bring those things up. Mostly that's on reward basis. If management wants to know who was, who led the charge here, and it's a great thing, it's a wonderful thing. The leader, the manager should never say, I did. It's me. That's when you do want to go out to the team and they pulled through, we worked together, those kind of ideas. But that's not the context of this conversation right now. You never want to use the words they, them, we, you. Rewind the video, go back, and look at the bad examples, right, from the experiences of the author that he shared with us. Sorry, we're short-staffed today. That's when you don't use we. Using words like those are more or less verbal examples of pointing the finger of blame. And as you're learning to transition your thought process and relay these things to your teammates and your coworkers and your staff, and even using them with management above you, as you're doing that, if you use that kind of language, that blame shifts away from you being accountable or responsible, over time, that will begin feeling a little slimy to you. It will begin feeling wimpy or queasy. Like it doesn't feel right. It feels weak to use those kinds of words. I can't like if those kind of things even slip out of me because we're all human, immediately it's like, ugh, it just feels kind of gross. So look out for those kind of feelings. That lets you know you're on the right track. And number 3, you're going to want to make action with this a priority. Act on it. Number 3 is take action. What can I do? How can I fix this? How can I get the team to perform better together? The team of which you're part of. That's much better than saying, why won't they listen? Why can't I get him, her to do what I say? Why won't they just? You can feel the difference. Is this pretty clear? I think it's a pretty clear, much more productive. Okay? You'll feel better, you'll feel stronger, and your leadership will be more effective. You're going to get more buy-in with these things. Here's the commitment I want you to make. If you have a duty to the organization, in the company, in your particular location and store to hit targets and quotas and goals and budget markers, which I know you are because I'm in the meetings with you, this is the commitment that you should make to yourself. Because this is building you first, and then it builds the company. All right? The commitment is this. I will use my head and my heart and my hands to fix the problem and never again assign the blame. I'm going to use my head, my heart, and my hands to fix the problem however I can and never again assign the blame. This is a goal. It's not about being perfect. It's about making progress. That's why if you take action now, immediately, while I'm talking, you should be asking questions like, how can I apply this? How can I put it to work? How can I use this today on my shift? That's the beginning of implementing the question behind the question and growing in your personal accountability. This is what ownership mentality means. This is what it means. It doesn't mean it's your fault. It doesn't mean you're responsible to do somebody else's job. It means you're placing yourself in power to be able to affect change. That's what it means. This is empowering. It's the opposite of weakening, which is what the negative examples of this do. So remember, it doesn't have to be your fault. It's not about fault. As a matter of fact, I try to relay this everywhere I go, whether I'm coaching a baseball field, whether I'm doing a business meeting, whether I'm negotiating a project for myself, whatever it is, at home, with vendor, like construction dudes, project people, my wife, my kids, it doesn't matter. I use this all the time. Get fault out of your mind. Fault, like that word should probably be eradicated from the English language. It doesn't serve anything unless you're talking, I don't know, legalities or something. You guess you want to know who, whatever. We're talking business. And in regular day-to-day conversations, the word fault is poison. When I hear somebody talk about whose fault is it, I know exactly what kind of manager or leader they are. Not a very good one. I know it. They're a person who blame shifts. They're probably not going to take accountability, and if something good happens, they'll probably take credit for it automatically anyway. You know anybody like that? This is about being responsible and taking ownership so you have the power, right? You're not giving the power away. It's about doing something with it. My promise to you is this. If you make this part of your character, if you make this part of how you live your life, I guarantee you the results that you get in your personal, in your professional life will dramatically improve, and it will happen fast. I promise you, your emotions will be more stable, you'll be more level-headed, you'll be less frustrated as quickly, and you'll be more patient with those around you. And because of the levity in your mood, the lightness in your mood, you're also going to be easier to work around, and you're going to have people around you that want to make the goals happen. They want to please you at that point, truly as a leader, the way players on a team want to win for their coach. You know, they want to do it for the coach. It's a very similar concept. It's extremely refreshing to be around people who take ownership and accountability for their life and don't blame others for all the things that went wrong. Why you late? Traffic. It's blame shifting. The question behind the question says, how can I fix being late? How can I fix snapping off the handle at somebody who asks me a simple question? How can I get better at being patient? How can I not do this? This is where it starts. You can totally do this. You can start right now by taking action, using these examples. It takes a little while. Next time you find yourself saying, why can't they just, you catch it. You try to become conscious. That's increasing your awareness. You can catch it and replace it with a better question. What can I do to communicate this more effectively? What can I do to get this to happen better in the company rather than why can't they just? How can I get better to help them grow? How can I get better? Number one, Question Behind the Question by John G. Miller. There's your book. Would you guys be interested in getting a copy? Would you guys be interested in having your own personal copy? Because maybe we can talk with Jason. We can discuss these things and see how we can make that happen for the company, right? Would you guys like a copy? Yes or no? Number two, would you like a cheat sheet with the simplistic bullet points on this so you don't have to come back and watch the video every time? Because that could be really useful too if you want it. I don't want to put the effort into these things if you guys aren't going to use them, but if you will use them, I'll be more than glad to produce a couple little PDFs. You guys can do it. Hang up cheat sheets in your locations on the bulletin board, by the phones, around the building, in the office, whatever it is. We can do these things. This is a cultural thing. This is a mindset shift, and we can do stuff like that. Little cheat sheet, even for cards, like little laminate cards for delivery drivers to put in a wallet or something, because it's so impactful for your personal life. And was that 2 or 3? I don't know. That was it. Listen, don't follow me with math. There's a reason I talk for a living. You got this. This is my encouragement to you. You can do this. This is not that difficult. It's very exciting to begin doing this, and it's a great way to begin revolutionizing your own thinking so you can get better results, and that'll feed on itself, and you'll find other things to apply it to in your life and other areas you can use it. So other than that, leave any comments that you have in the comment section below. Leave them there. I'll get notifications. I can answer. It's going to be the quickest, fastest way to do it. Plus, if other people watch the video in the company over the next, however long this is here for the foreseeable future, this is your guys' private channel. This is your private playlist. Nobody has it but you. So put your comments down there. People can read those. It'll be like an FAQ. Frequently asked questions, and it'll all be there, and people can search for answers, and you can engage with others, share experiences. It'd be a great idea if you went out and applied something, came back and left a comment of what you did with it, and then let other people read that. And then you can take the link, save the link to your phone to just this one video for somebody who's a constant blame shifter, and maybe it's a staff person. You can take the link from your phone and share the link to the video in a text message to their phone, and they can just watch it right there, right? They can do it on their time. You can give them a little homework assignment in lieu of a write-up or a communication form, right? So there's a lot of options we can do. It's a new program. Let me know what you guys think, and we'll see how this one goes and continue the process. So hope this was good. Hopefully it wasn't too long, and we'll move on. Other than that, keep cranking, guys. Glad to be associated with you. Maybe next time I'll wear that. Take care.